Hey there. I want to read to you this book here by Gail Ripplinger, Language of the King James Bible. Just make sure I got a microphone in there good, because I know that I had a lot of static on my other video, finishing up Genesis. Well, first of all, here's the book. There's the name, The Language of the King James Bible. Of course, Gail Ripplinger, right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the abbreviations for the dictionaries and whatnot first. So if you happen to hear me reading the acronym, then you can, plug in your mind that that's the acronym for a dictionary that she quotes that I'll be reading. Most of the time, the acronyms for the Bibles are pretty easy, but I'm going to go ahead and just do the one for the dictionaries, or Thesaurus, what have you. The CDEE is Concise Dictionary of English Etymology. CED is Concise English Dictionary. The DWOA is Dictionary of Word Origins, Ayoto. The NRTDF-New Rogets Thesaurus in dictionary form. The NSD is Nuttall's Standard Dictionary. The ODEE is Oxford Dictionary of English Etymology. The OED is Oxford English Dictionary, Unabridged. The SDWO is Shipley's Dictionary of Word Origins. The WBE is World Book Encyclopedia. WCT is Webster's Concise Thesaurus. WEB is Webster's 1828 Dictionary. WED is Webster's Encyclopedic Dictionary. WNC is Webster's New College Dictionary. And WUD is Webster's Unabridged Dictionary. So when I get time, I'm going to put them down there at the bottom there and try to add them to each video I make. This is like 172. It's got a lot more pages in it than that, but most readable parts are up to like 170 something. It doesn't have full pages of stuff, so it's pretty easy to get through. So I'm going to try to do this as best I can, as if I were to do like, reading through the Bible or something. Try to be as descriptive as possible. So let's get started. Chapter 1. I'll get it there. Well, more like the introduction first. It says the magnified word. There has been a remarkable recent discovery which has made front page news in the London Times. Now, this is back in 2000. This book was put together in 2007. The oldest remains of any New Testament manuscript were discovered using a high magnification device and the epifluorescent confocal laser scanning technique. The small fragment was dated AD 66. Close examination shows that it contains a King James Bible's reading from Matthew 6:26-22. The castos autem, every one of them. It proves wrong the reading in the NIV, NASB, and all new versions, which are based on the critical Greek text, which reads Hais ekestos, each one, or one after the other. Dr. Carson Thiede, author of Eyewitness to Jesus, remarked, "It is self-evident that this original reading, preferable on the grounds of internal criteria, and now corroborated by the oldest papyrus of St. Matthew's Gospel, must replace the text in the two most widely used versions of the Greek New Testament, that of the United States Bible Societies at the present in its fourth revised edition, and the so-called Nestle Island, the Novum Testamentium Graeci, now in its 27th revised edition, at the Munster Institute, which looks after this text. A rearguard action is being mounted, not surprisingly in view of its vested interest in the controversy. One of its staff members, Claus Watchstill, recently published an article that refuses to acknowledge the change. In any case, it is a form of intellectual resistance which cannot last. The facts are now beyond dispute. Page 6162. The King James Bible and its underlying Greek Textus Receptus have had the correct reading all along. History repeats itself. When the other New Testament papyri were discovered, the Nassau Island 26th edition was forced to go back to the King James Version readings approximately 500 times. New versions have not yet caught up. The more we magnify the Lord and move closer to Him, the more lovely and true He proves Himself to be to us. As we move closer to this gem, the Word of God, and it is magnified, Psalms 138:2, studied 2 Timothy 3:16, meditated upon Psalm 119:148, and glorified 2 Thessalonians 3:1, we are at once humbled and awestruck by the purity of its many facets. This new book attempts to examine closely some of the facets of this gem. It also attempts to answer the questions of those who would too quickly exchange the fire, Jeremiah 23:29, of this diamond for counterfeit, subtly carved out of this spiritual ice age. More than 1 billion people speak English. The pages of the King James Bible are written with the point of a diamond for the table of their heart, Jeremiah 17:1. The language of the King James Bible is an introduction to the various magnificent intricacies of our beloved English Bible. I will attempt to show the following. Let me get over from there. The King James Bible contains God's built-in dictionary, defining each word in its context, using the very words of the Webster's and Oxford English dictionaries. The King James Bible has a vocabulary and reading level which slowly builds progressively from Genesis to Revelation. The King James Bible uses words with appropriate sound symbolism. It has a vocabulary phonoaesthetically fulfills the Bible's own description of itself as powerful. The King James Bible is the only extant access we have to the pure language lexicons of the 16th and 17th century. The King James Bible gives a transparent view of the Greek and Hebrew vocabulary, grammar, and syntax. The King James Bible has an internationally recognizable vocabulary and spelling. The King James Bible uses literary devices which enhance doctrinally important concepts and memorability. King James Bible has a sentence structure which enhances accurate doctrinal interpretation. The King James Bible's words and sentences are patterned and woven throughout its fabric so as to provide a consistency of form and content. The King James Bible has the precision and longevity of the legal document that it is. To be equitable, all English-speaking persons must be judged by the same criteria. This small volume is merely an overview of the subject, written to fulfill the urgent need for such information. Behind it lies mounds of books and walls of file cabinets. Full of the elaboration and documentation which, if the Lord wills, will take form in the future as a large volume on the subject. This book is in no way intended to detract from any accurate early Bible or foreign translation. As a native speaker of English living in the 20th century, the King James Version is the Bible through which God speaks to me, and with which He has shown me the majesty of the Word of God. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. Psalm 29:4. Now, chapter 1. How do you find the Bible's built-in dictionary? Bible's built-in dictionary. My examination. What was that? Okay. Hang on, what's in here? I know what that was. Okay. She says, my examination of the 1,000 most difficult words in the King James Version reveals that God defines all of them, and the context and their first usage, using the very words of the Webster's or Oxford English Dictionary. As the Lord wills, this research will be published shortly, citing all the words and their built-in definition. This brief overview is offered to give enough examples of how God's built-in dictionary works, thereby allowing the reader a head start in discovering the dictionary for himself. The entrance of thy words giveth light, it giveth understanding to the simple. Psalms 119:130. Next page. Okay. Let's see here. The first and last. The King James Version is a looking glass, looking back at 1,000 years of the history of our culture's thinking and beliefs. The Webster's and the Oxford dictionaries match the King James Version's definitions exactly. Because the King James Version preceded them, God created the meaning of the words in the Bible itself. People read the Bible and picked up those meanings. The dictionaries merely reflect the culture. One secular lexicographer admits about the beginning of the 17th century and the reign of James I, our language had already begun to assume the form in which we now find it, and is from that date entitled to be called the English language. From the time when the Bible was translated into English and by being printed and spread among the people, the language may be said to have been fixed. NSD. If you go back, you know what NSD means. Scholars agree that the English language did not become fixed until the King James Bible. Early editions like the Tyndale and the Geneva, although practically identical to the King James Version, did not always contain the built-in dictionary found in the King James Version. They did not need it because they were written at an unusual juncture in history when English was becoming English. The root languages of Anglo-Saxon, French, and Latin were still familiar. They give an example here. Like Geneva was collops. King James Version, collops of fat. What are collops? They're fat. Okay. It says, look at the word next to the word in question. King James first uses in definitions. Abroad, spread abroad. Abroad, Genesis 10:18, spread abroad. The OED, the English Dictionary, or whatever that word initial, the acronym, just look it up. A dictionary definition was widespread. Averse from war. The WB says the word includes the idea of from. Adamant, Ezekiel 3:9, Zechariah 7:12. An adamant harder than flint, an adamant stone, WEB, a very hard stone. Charge, Genesis 26:5. My charge, my commandments. WEB, synonymous with command. Chaste, 2 Corinthians 11:2. A chaste virgin. WNG, refrain from all acts thoughts, etc., that are not virginal. Let's see. King James first uses it in definition, dictionary definition. Chambering. Romans 13:13. Chambering and wantonness. WB, wanton. Chapman. 2 Chronicles 9:14. Chapman and merchants. OED, a merchant. Note the word cheap comes from this word. Current. Genesis 23:16. Current money, modern uses of currency. OED, of money, circulation of money. A current of water moves. Diverse. Deuteronomy 22, 9 through 11. Diverse sorts. WCT, all sorts of. Durst. Esther 7:5. Durst presume. Note, durst is the past tense of dare. NRTDF, presume. Again, that's the acronym of the dictionary. Okay. See if I can get 3 chapters. I don't know. Again, adder, Genesis 49:17. It's in the King James is a serpent by the way, and then the adder, WDEB, is a serpent. Athirst, Judges 15:18. He was sore thirst, shall I die for thirst? WB, thirsty. Amend, 2 Chronicles 34:10. To repair and to repair, mend. Aright, Psalm 50:23. Ordereth his conversation aright. NSD, put in good order. Besom, Isaiah 14:23. I will sweep it with a besom of destruction. OED is to sweep with force. Contrite, Psalm 34:18. Of a broken heart and of a contrite spirit. OED and WEB, broken or broken-hearted for sin. Deride, Habakkuk 1:10. Shall scoff, shall be a scorn, shall deride. OED, scorn, scoff. Same thing as the Bible. Dictionary has the same thing as the Bible. Okay, and environ, and shall environ us about. That was Joshua 7:9. OED is to form a ring around, surround. Equity, with Psalm 98:9. With righteousness shall he judge with equity. OED is right, exercised by the judge. Extol, I will extol thee, Lord. Psalms 31:31. For thou hast lifted me up. OED is to lift up. The definition is made easy to find because of the use of parallel parts of speech and syllabication. Execration, Jeremiah 42:18. Execration and astonishment and a curse. WB, a curse. Dissimulation, Galatians 2:13, Romans 12:9. Jews dissembled their dissimulation. OED, an act of dissembling. Both dissimulation and dissemble, Galatians 2:13, are difficult words. What if God finds a word with another word that the reader does not know? Try step 3. Dissembleth, Proverbs 26:23-26. Lips like a potsherd covered, dissembleth his lips, and layeth up deceit. Leave him not, covered by deceit. OED and WD, deceive, cover. Afore, 2 Kings 23:4. Walk before, past afore. OED, before. Betwixt, Genesis 17:10-11. Between me and you, betwixt me and you. OED, between. So, descry, Judges 1:23-25. Joseph sent to describe Bethel. The spies saw a man. They said, show us, we will show thee. He showed them. OED, to get sight of, to espy, spy out. see here. Read beginning at the paragraph mark. Read the entire chapter up. Let's see here. King James abated. Genesis 8:1-5. Waters assuaged, fountains stopped, rain restrained, waters returned, waters were abated, waters decreased. The ALL, okay, that must mean all dictionaries. Well, all dictionaries give these, that's where it says, right? All dictionaries give these surrounding words the same definition as abated, that is, to lessen. Blains, Exodus 9:9-15. A boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast, pestilence. ODEE, a boil breaking forth with blains, pestilential diseases, beast, OED, same thing. Concupiscence, Romans 7:7-14. For I had not known lust except the law, and had said, Thou shalt not covet. But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence. I am carnal. WB says this, defines it as to covet or lust after carnal things, unlawful. Okay, read the beginning of the paragraph mark, read the entire chapter. Okay. Coupling, Exodus 26. Couple together one to another, coupling. Take hold one of another, couple the curtains together, couple the tent together, that it may be one couple together, WB, connect one thing with another, fasten together. Dominion, Genesis 1:26-2-4. Dominion over the fish, over the fowl, over the cattle, over all the earth, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing rather. Subdue it, and have dominion over the fish, over the fowl, over every living thing. The Lord God made the earth. SDWO reads, Overlords, to those beneath it. Latin, Dominus, Lord. Okay. Expedient, John 11. Feet, verse 2. Walk, verse 9. Walk, verse 10. Quickly, verse 29. Hastily, verse 31. Feet, verse 32. Come forth, verse 43. Foot, verse 44. ODEE says, Latin, expedire, free, the feet. Jesus said unto them, Loose him. WED says, set free. Expedient for us that man, verse 50, should die for the people. Verse 50 should die for the nation. Verse 51, that not for the nation only. Verse 52, OED, WB read, conductive to. WB reads, defines for an occasion to self-conduct. Defines for as conducted to substitute. Jesus before walked no more openly. Verse 54. WCT means substitute. CED, to free, to hasten, to send forth. WB, to hasten, speed. Mary wiped Jesus' feet. Mary wiped Jesus' feet. She later fell down at his feet. Lazarus' bound feet. Lazarus' bound feet were loosened at Jesus' command. Jesus was set to die for us, and he our substitute. Therefore, he could walk no more openly. Okay, chapter 2. Do chapter 2, and that's it. For tonight, anyway. All right. It's not very long either. I'm on page 39, and this is page 15 right now. 16, 17 now. Chapter 2. To increase the likelihood that people would be familiar with one word or another. Oh, well, let me read this first. Why does God use words with the same meaning? To increase the likelihood that people would be familiar with one word or another or the other. To make certain the reader is not misunderstanding the text. To define words should they fall out of use. To compensate for regional variations. In England, a headache can be a bad head, a head work, a skullache, or a sore head, depending on location. To expand one's vocabulary, thereby increasing the available linguistics tool for alliteration, i.e. vowels were filled with their flesh. Revelations 19:21. Collar of my coat, Job 30:18. Rhyme, rhythm, and phonesthesia. That's a word for it? I think so. Okay. So the careful use and ordering of these phonological elements can be used to create balance, contrast, emphasis, unity, and associations in a verse. These, in turn, complement the meaning and beauty of the passage and enhance memorability. These devices can be found to some degree in all King James verses. Note just a few in the following the examination of Revelation 3:18. Alliteration: appear, anoint, counsel, clothe, tried, fire, wretched, rich, raiment. Rhyme: I counsel thee to buy of me, thou mayest be. Let me try this again. Rhyme: I counsel thee to buy of me, thou mayest be, thou mayest see. Long I sounds: I tried, white thy eyes. Long O, gold and clothes. Long A, raiment, shame, nakedness, mayest. And the King James takes full advantage of the stress time rhythms isoponus of the English language. Stress syllables often occur at mathematically predictable intervals. Rhythm: mayest be, nakedness. I counsel thee to buy of me, thou mayest be, thou mayest see. The first one is 3 syllables, accent on the first and third. Last one is 4 syllables, accents alternate. Linguists call the last group of the T-tone pattern. This phonological feature permeates Shakespeare. Alliteration and rhyme are used theologically to tie words and concepts together. Tried in the fire, shame of thy nakedness. I saw that thou may see. When the NKJV, NIV, and ASV substitute words such as refined, garments, you, be revealed, from, clothes to wear, put, and advise, all such rhythm, rhyme, and alliteration are destroyed. Now, that's pretty cute. Good chapter. See if I got enough time to do 3. No, I don't think so. That's a longer chapter. Chapter 2 is pretty short. Well, that's all I'm going to do for right now. There's 2 chapters into this, and we'll be doing on chapter 3 here later on, so I'm going to mark it with a little piece of mail. And there we go. So we've got a little ways to go. And I think about, let's see here. Yeah, got a little ways to go. To right here. That's the body of it, and there's the index and stuff like that. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do for right now. Chapters 1 and 2. All right, see you. God bless. Take care.